Today I thought I would do a little chit-chatty video with you while I get ready. So I'm going to go ahead and start getting ready. I'm going to be using my Shop My Stash products that I pulled most recently, but also I'm adding in two new products, new to me, because my amazing friend Clara Barrera sent me a really sweet package filled with, it was like Christmas. And so I wanted to use a couple of the things that she sent me today. So that's what I'm gonna do, because you know what, I can do that if I want. Well, that was a stipulation I made, to myself for doing Shop My Stash, was that when I recorded I could use kind of whatever I wanted, but I've been sticking mostly to my Shop My Stash products in my videos, and then and using them exclusively when I'm not doing a video. So to add these two little things is not going to be too much. All right, and I'm using the Tartus Pro palette that I pulled for my Shop My Stash, and I'm mostly just going to be using these three shades right here, and then like the latest shimmer right here. And we're just going to talk about some stuff, because I got some stuff to talk about. So today I am getting ready, and we are heading to my son Riley. I feel like I talk about him all the time. I have 3 boys, and I love them all equally the same. Like, I'm crazy about my kids. Like, ask anybody. I don't play favorites. I think that's disgusting that people do that between like their kids or grandkids or whatever. Like, absolutely not. The reason you've been hearing about Riley so much is because this year has been his senior year. So naturally, most of the things going on have been, you know, for him. So that has kind of been why Riley has been the topic of discussion a lot. And also because he is a drummer. And so last year when we went to Tennessee, it was because of him, because he went down and did worship with a family at a Christian youth camp and for a week. And so my husband and I took that opportunity to make it a vacation for our 20th anniversary. And so now we are getting ready, gearing up in a couple weeks here, less than 2 weeks now, for our church camp, which is where we met them. My son met his, you know, the dad is a pastor, and so he spoke at camp, and that's why he ended up here from Tennessee to Michigan in the first place. And my son Riley became really good friends with his daughters, and they're all very musical, obviously, and so they had a lot in common to talk about and things like that. And so that is how we met them. And then they wanted Riley to come and join them for worship last year, and now this year the dad is speaking again at our church camp, and their family is doing the worship for all the main services, which is so amazing. I am so excited because they asked Riley to drum for them for all the services. Now, our church camp is huge. It's thousands of people. I believe there are almost 1,000 just kids. So yeah, it's a very big, from babies to very elderly people who have been coming there their whole entire lives. It's just a really awesome time, and it's our family's just favorite place to be, favorite thing to do. And so for Riley to get to be such a huge part of it this year is like, this mama heart is like through the roof, you know? Okay. So I am so super excited. And so today, though, speaking of Riley, we are actually headed to, I just used the wrong color there. That was not even the color that I wanted to use. But, you know, that's okay. We'll just go back over it with this one. Not that it really matters. So today, my husband and Riley and I are headed to a local park because the band director for their school is throwing like a, you know, going away banquet for the seniors that were in band. Now, the really cool thing is, Riley wasn't even in band this year. He started in 5th grade, and he decided his senior year that he wasn't going to do band, which was like kind of devastating to me. But I wanted him to make his own decisions. He was working on other drumming things and stuff, and you know, whatever. That was his choice to make. Well, how could we possibly have known that half of the year would have been lost anyway, over half, when you consider, I don't know, we'll see what happens with parades and stuff, because usually you'd be doing like, well, Memorial Day parade was out and that kind of thing. So so much of band was lost this year, and they were supposed to be going to Disney this year and couldn't go. It was kind of devastating for those kids. Riley thankfully got to go to Disney a few years ago with the band. I think they go every 4 years, so each kid gets to do it. But since he was brought up to the high school marching band when he was still still younger than that, he got to go then and was supposed to be able to go a second time if he had been in band this year, but like I said, he decided not to. But anyway, so the band director contacted us and said, you know, Riley was such a huge part of band for all these years, and I want to include him as one of, you know, my seniors going out that I want to celebrate. And so I thought that was so amazing. Their band director is incredible. He's an amazing guy. He's funny, super nice, but the kids respect him. They you know, they listen to him, they have fun with him, and he celebrates the kids and their talents and lifts them up, and he's a mentor, and he's just awesome. And his wife as well, like, they're just fantastic. They're like the most involved people in our community, I swear. And so we were so thrilled for them to invite us to this and want Riley to be a part of it. So that is what we are headed to do today, just a little banquet. I don't think it'll last real long because it's hecka hot outside. And but they wanted to do just like some food and do some videos of the kids over the years and that kind of stuff, and you know, just celebrate these kids. And so I think that is awesome. So we are excited to go and do that today. And then some other stuff I wanted to talk to you guys about was, as I mentioned, obviously our church camp is coming up, which means I'm going to be doing a lot of pre-recorded videos that you guys will be seeing while we're gone, because I want to have regular content coming out. So if you are not getting notifications for my videos, please go and like unclick your bell and re-click it if it's showing that you are supposed to be getting them, because people are telling me they're not, and I can tell because my watch time and all that has gone, I mean, drastically dropped. And so that would be a great way for you guys to make sure. And if you're just not getting notifications and it's like, wow, I haven't seen a video from Danielle in a while, it's because you're just not getting notifications. So definitely go look, because I'm going to have stuff up. I'm going to have 3 videos a week up while I'm gone. So just like my normal Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Right now my schedule has been a little bit off because I've been doing some collabs and things like that aren't necessarily going to be, like, my next one is on Saturday. And so, you know, I don't usually put videos up on Saturdays typically. I do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But I keep that very loose. Like, I just do whatever, you know, works out. But so while I'm gone though, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, there will be videos up. And so I hope that you will want to come on over and check them out. And also that means when I am at church camp, my focus is God. That's where it needs to be. That's where it needs to be all the time. But it is especially at that time. That is what we are there for. You know, we go to services, we do different classes, we pray with friends, we, you know, everything, and just spend time with our friends having a ton of fun. And like our kids all day, like we hardly see them during the day because they are off with their friends and doing different activities and their services and their, you know, different stuff. And it's the most amazing experience. I can never explain it to people. And when I do explain it, people are like, oh yeah, sounds great. You have no idea. And anyone who goes there would tell you, like, before they started going there, when they would hear about it, it was like, okay, like, I guess we'll go check it out. And once you do, you fall in love. So, yeah, that is something we love. So saying that, since I will be focused on that, I will not be focusing on checking my, you know, responding back to comments and things like that, because I actually don't even know. I got a new phone service just recently, and my last phone service worked good up there. I don't know if this one's going to or not. So I honestly don't even know if I will have the ability to really be. I think we have Wi-Fi at camp. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we do, that you can pay for, but I'm not going to do that because that's not what I want to be doing while I'm there. So if I am not responding back to your comments and things like that, I am not snubbing you. I promise you. You guys know that I just absolutely love you guys. And so it is nothing like me just ignoring what you're saying or something. And when I get back, I will be spending lots of time to go through all my comments and answer everybody and all that good stuff, because that is something that I love to do. That's like my favorite thing about having this channel is, you know, corresponding with you guys. So that will absolutely be something I'm doing when I get home. But so during that time, if there's a 2-week time period where you are not hearing from me, that is why. So I just wanted to make sure that people know. I know not everyone's going to watch this video. I'm going to try to put it on the community tab and stuff too, and on my Instagram, just so that people know and aren't like, oh, nice, like here I am supporting her and leaving comments and she's just not even responding, you know, like I would not do that. My character isn't suddenly going to change like that. So yes, that is absolutely what will be going on, and it's just, I don't know how else to say, but it's just an incredible time of just being focused on the Lord and spending a lot of time in worship and prayer and spending a ton of time with friends. And, you know, life is busy. And these are people that, like, we do see at church, but we have 3 different services at our church. We have one on, well, there's more than that, but, okay, so Saturday nights, there's a service at our church. And then Sunday mornings at 9 o'clock, there's 2 different services because we have a chapel and a sanctuary. So, or worship center, I guess they call it now. And then at 10:45, there is just one service. So there are 4 different services at our church. So even though we have, like, you know, our good friends there, we might not see each other because people go to all different services and we change. Sometimes we go on Saturday night, sometimes we go Sunday mornings, or the later one on Sunday. We like the latest one on Sunday the best, but I also really like Saturday nights. But so that's kind of how that works. And so we don't get to spend like a ton of time like talking to our friends at church. And right now it's totally different too, because obviously with everything going on, you can't stand around in the church and talk. You have to, you know, they ask that if you want to visit, you go outside, and you're supposed to be maintaining social distance and wearing masks and all that good stuff. So they are very good about making sure, you know, they said they want to be respectful of authority and that kind of stuff. And so I think that's awesome, and keep everyone safe. And obviously we have a lot of elderly people in our congregation, and we definitely want to keep them safe. And so that is awesome that they actually just sent out a new thing about it, because our governor just made it mandatory. Like, you can be fined $500. It's like a misdemeanor if you go in public places without a mask on. Any indoor place, and then a crowded outdoor place, you have to have a mask. So that is, they're trying to be very respectful of making sure that we're, you know, following those rules. They don't mandate it in church settings. Like, they're kind of, I think, letting them decide that. However, our church, you know, wants to do that, and to make sure that, you know, people in the congregation there, not everybody thinks it's important to wear a mask, but some people really do. And so, you know, we want to make sure that the people that really do are being respected, that everyone is doing it. So I think that's amazing. And then so yeah, so spending time with our friends at church, I love it. Or not at church, at camp. At night is really when we do that. After our last service, there's usually ice cream. There's an ice cream store. It has the best ice cream. I can't eat it, but from years past when I could, oh man. It's everyone, like my family comes up for a night or 2 and visits, which this year they're definitely making sure that they do, and maybe more than one because of Riley drumming. But like my sisters will end up coming usually different days, and my parents come a different day than that, and my husband's parents come a different day than that. So we always kind of have, sorry, I'm gonna reach for my powder brush here. We always kind of have different people coming and visiting and going to the services with us and stuff. And they all super look forward to the ice cream after service too. So most of the time people do that. And then one of the nights during camp, like each church, because there's several different churches. This is not just my church at this camp. It is a missionary church camp. We go to a missionary church. And it's several different churches, like from all over that. There's like Wesleyan Church and oh shoot, what is it? Is it Church of the Nazarene? Things like that. There's several different ones that come. So that's what's cool, because you get to meet people from all over and make new friends that way too, which we have over the years, which is super fun. And so then at night after services. Oh, so that's what I was saying. I lose track of what I'm doing very easily. So churches take, church camp is actually 10 days. We go for 12, but sometimes you kind of spread it out a little longer. But the churches take turns running the ice cream place. So that's really fun the night that everyone does it, which will be interesting this year because they said it's going to be, I think they said it's going to be open. So it'll be interesting to see like it's always been super like the people who run it, because there's a couple who kind of are in charge of that at camp and then have the churches come in and help. They have always been very like strict about cleanliness and hygiene, not hygiene, what I'm trying to say, making sure everything's done sanitarily and safe and that kind of stuff. So it'll be interesting to see this year what that looks like, because they'll be even more so. But yeah, so everyone enjoys the ice cream. And then though afterwards, we have several of us that camp right like with each other. And at night, several nights of the week, my husband makes popcorn with our Whirly Pop, and we have like a giant Tupperware bowl that my son's girlfriend gave me. No, my son's girlfriend's mom gave me. And so we fill that and take out bowls, and we also make a ton of coffee, and I have like a carafe thing that we take out while other ones are brewing. And I've got one of the ones that's like the big thermal pump one. And so everyone drinks coffee together and eats popcorn, and we sit around and talk and laugh, and sometimes we watch something together. Like Tim Hawkins is a hilarious Christian comedian, so sometimes we like watch videos with him with the kids around, but the kids are usually off doing their thing because at night they have like night spot and stuff with the youth. And there's just so much to do. There's so much to keep the kids busy and to keep the adults busy. But we really love that time in the evenings where we get to sit around together and just chat and laugh, and yeah, like just the stuff that friends do. So that is such an amazing time for all of us that we love. This video is probably going to be long, and I think I started to say that before. Several of the videos I have filmed that you're going to be seeing soon are quite short, and so I figured, I know some people really like a good chatty video, and I thought, I got a lot of stuff to talk about right now, so I might as well do a chatty one, right? Because the ones that I do that will be showing while I'm gone are probably not going to be as chatty. I'm having so much fun doing like a full face of makeup because I'm going to be out in the park, but there's not going to be a million of us. We're going to be separated from each other, so I can wear like a full face of makeup. I don't have to wear a mask. Yay. And then what else did I want to tell you about? There was something else that I was like, oh my gosh, I want to talk about. So I'm gonna take a little sip. This is my friend bought me, a friend from church actually, bought me this. It's a double walled Starbucks cup. I have not been able to find these ever since then. When she found it, it was like one of the last ones she could find, and so I treat this thing like gold. Like nobody touches it, but because it keeps your ice for so long. But I just drink coffee with some unsweetened almond milk. That's all. So I thoroughly enjoy it when it's nice and hot out. Nice and hot don't really go together. Nice, hot, no. Making you sweat, that's not nice. I don't think that's nice. All right. So the thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, oh my gosh, I don't know if any of you have watched, like my sister brought it up to me when we were camping and asked if we had seen it, and I was like, no, because she's like, okay, so this is what she did. She said, what do you remember about Waco? About David Koresh and like the Branch Davidians and all that stuff. And so we were like, what were you? I mean, obviously we were like, this was a long time ago. We were fairly young and whatever. But I said, I think I just remember them being like a crazy, fanatical, like religious group, and whatever, like something crazy going down, and all of them like whatever. And so my sister's like, okay, that's pretty much what I think too. And like my husband had kind of said the same thing when she asked him later, like, because we weren't right with each other at the time. And so she's like, now I want you to go and watch on Netflix the miniseries Waco. And I was like, okay. And she's like it, I was like, wait, what? Like, she was saying, I was like, wait, what? Like, this is what it was? Like, you know, whatever. Like, from what we remember to what it actually was. Of course, it's a miniseries. And of course, there's a lot of discrepancy in facts, like knowing for sure what happened. But so my husband and I watched it. And I'm telling you what, I was like, wait a minute, what? Like, this is not at all what I remember about it. And my husband's like, me either. And now I would say they definitely lean toward, in the documentary, the side of the Branch Davidians. Not saying that things that they were doing were, like, that there weren't things that they were doing that were not really cool. I don't know how else to say it. But still more leaning toward that they were kind of an innocent, like, what happened, not innocent, but what happened to them shouldn't have, which I fully agree. Doesn't matter even, like, if some of those, you know, circumstances that they showed, because of course they take liberties, they have no idea what was actually happening inside when things all went down. But I can't help but feel like, and I went and did some research after, because I'm like, okay, I'm not going to just trust this. You can't do that. You can't just trust a documentary type thing, or like a, you know, mini series, especially, because that's not even really like a documentary. You have to, like, kind of go and look for yourself. So that is what I did, to see, like, okay, what is, I'm using the fairy lights, the pixie fairy lights. I never remember what color it's in. Crystalline. Just to add a little light glitter on top of here. So I was like, even with the information that I got that they didn't share in the miniseries, I still can't help but feel like if they would have just gone after what the actual issue was, you know, like the actual issues that were going on there, and addressed them, mostly David Koresh and the things he was doing, what happened never needed to happen. Like, all those people did not need to die. Now, did they do things that most of us would consider weird and, like, not okay? Probably, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things that I don't agree with the polygamy and things like that. However, does that warrant people dying? Obviously not. I think any of us can agree on that one. And especially kids who are innocent, have no choice in the matter, that kind of thing. Now, from what I'm seeing, no one was forced to stay there as far as the people who lived there. Like, they chose to be there and could leave at any time, and there was no, you know, it wasn't like they were being held there against their will or something. For the most part. I mean, I'm sure if you had a child with him and wanted to leave, he was gonna tell you he's keeping the child and whatever, so that would be different. But aside from that, I don't see anywhere that the people were, like, forced to be there, you know, kind of thing. Like, these people chose to be a part of this. And even though there are things that I don't agree with that they did and things like that, it's like, you can't, I don't know how to say it. Like, you can't judge these people for, you know, people believe in all sorts of things. And it doesn't seem as though the way they were living was necessarily, like, dangerous, aside from the stuff with the young girls. Please know I'm saying that is not okay before somebody attacks me and is like, you do know he is sleeping with underage girls. No, that is not even remotely okay. That's what I'm saying, though. It needed to be addressed what he was doing. He was the one who was doing things that weren't okay. It doesn't seem as though the other people were doing anything, like, illegal or anything like that. And I'm sorry, Clara, if you're watching this, because I know you this. But yeah, so that stuff, not okay. However, just because people think differently than you, aside from that part of it, doesn't mean that they're wrong or that their lives should be disrupted. If they're minding their own business and doing their own thing and not hurting anybody, then, that's because there's even stuff about, Child Protective Services went in several different times to try to see if there was abuse to these children, and they could never find any cases of it. Like, these kids were loved. They weren't, nothing horrible was happening to them. So the claims that the kids were being abused in there and stuff were false. But he needed to be addressed for the stuff he was doing. I feel like I'm being very repetitive about that, but I just want to make sure that you know that. But so, to go in, and from the way this story looks, because of what had happened at Ruby Ridge, so like the preface that they do is like, it's kind of like the ATF and stuff needed to redeem themselves for the horrible mistakes they made at Ruby Ridge. And so they made it their mission that this was going to be the thing they did to kind of, regain respect or something like that. And so they went in on these people when that didn't need to happen at all, when that most definitely was not the approach that needed to be made in this situation. And it just, when I like think about it, I've been thinking about it. We finished watching it days ago, but it's just like all I can think about, because I'm like, how many times are there people who, just live differently or believe differently? In some countries it's Christians who are persecuted for what they believe or whatever, and people's beliefs and what they, just because it's different than yours doesn't mean that you have a right to tell them they can't live the way they are. And obviously that means if they're not doing things that are affecting other people negatively, like sleeping with underage girls and things like that. So that obviously is a completely different situation. I don't mean that. You cannot use religion as a way to excuse away disgusting behaviors. No. But just because someone believes differently than you doesn't make it okay for you to, like, whatever, treat them badly or whatever. So just the way the whole thing went down and the way they show like the psychological kind of torture that they were doing to these people to try to get them to come out. And also, I can just imagine, I mean, it would be awful enough for adults, but these kids that were in there and were being put through this, that's disgusting that government people would be doing something like that. That is disgusting. And so it just made me, I'm like, people get outraged about things. That's something to get outraged about. I'm not saying that I'm not talking about anything specific before anybody comes at me for that either. Right now, I feel like you got to be so careful with everything you say. And please just don't know that I'm not saying that things that are issues right now are not important. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, sometimes people get outraged about things that really aren't that important. And then there's things like this that it's like, oh my gosh, why was this not known? Like, why did people not realize what was going on there? And why did no one step in and do something about it? And it looks like there were a couple, like their lawyers and stuff, who tried to. And if it's true about the first guy that they had going in there, and how he kind of became, it looks like, according to that he sort of became friendly with these people, like, how disgusting for him. How disgusting for Gary, what's his name, Nice? I don't remember how he says his last name. I don't remember what his last name was. But Gary, the guy who was like the hostage negotiator, what he went through trying to get the other agencies, like the FBI and stuff, to listen to him and let him do things the right way, the way that needed to happen to safely get these people out of there. And like he was just being ignored, and they had an agenda and weren't willing to do things the right way. They just wanted, you know, and I don't know. It was just, it's given me a lot to think about, and just you know, reflect on about, like, there are some, like I said, there are some details that they leave out of that miniseries. Like, they show at the end, spoiler alert if you don't already know, but sorry, you can still watch it. It's definitely worth watching. At the end, they show Steve, the one kind of right-hand guy of David Koresh, shooting David and then himself, which they don't know for sure how that went down. Like, if he actually wanted him to shoot him and then shoot himself, or if Steve just did shoot him and then shot himself. They don't, I mean, you don't know. No, you weren't in there. You know, no one was in there. But they left out that several of the children were shot too. I read that in my little investigating. And I said to my husband, I go, but that doesn't mean that they had this impact and whatever. I said, maybe these parents were seeing their children were about to burn alive, and they could not stand the thought of letting them go through that. And so they put them, you know, out of misery. Who knows? You know, no, none of us know. And so it was just, oh my gosh, it's just been something on my mind like crazy. And just things to think about, like the way situations are handled, and you know, giving people the benefit of the doubt, like doing things in the least, you know, violent way possible. And I definitely don't feel at all, well, it wasn't handled in a way that was like that for these people. And I think that's disgusting. Like, if they would have just left them alone and dealt with what Koresh was doing as far as the underage girls thing and that kind of stuff, polygamy, whatever, it could have been a totally different outcome. But instead they went up in there with an agenda, with something to prove, or, you know, and that's what ended up happening. And I just find it horrific. It's horrific. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and use this. I hate how they do the names on this. Oh, this one shows pictures. I'm going to use Sweet Peony as my highlight here. I totally apologize for the fact that this is probably going to be a million years long. But hopefully you're finding it interesting what I'm talking about, because I would love to hear, if you've watched it, what your thoughts are on it, or if you haven't watched it, if you're going to, or what you remember about it from when it happened, all that kind of stuff. I just find it very fascinating, and fascinating, but like in a horrific way, you know? It's something I don't want to be like thinking about, you know, but okay. So then one of the things Clara sent me was this Tarte lip gloss in Milk and Cookies, because she knows I'm a gloss girl. And I saw these when these sets came out by Christmas, and I was like, oh, I love that. But I didn't get it. It smells so good. And so we're gonna lay a little gloss down on these lips. And yep, does just what I want out of a gloss. Just a beautiful sheen, not too much color. It's got just a very slight tint to it, but I think it goes well. And then another thing she sent me was this Urban Decay All-Nighter, and it's the cherry. And so I'm super excited. I'm gonna spray it once, not at my face, before I, there we go. Yeah, the good thing, because there were some big droplets that first time. All right. I don't notice a ton of cherry smell. It's very, very faint. Oh, and I wish I wouldn't have done that on my necklace. That's all right. Let's see. Okay, and by the way, while I'm talking about that, I'm wearing my necklace today that the lovely Wendy sent me. So I will leave her Facebook page so you can check that out if you would like to check out her jewelry. She makes and sells jewelry, and it's beautiful, and I love it. And so this is my final look to head to the park. I should be nice and cool. I'm just wearing like a tank top and leggings and this kimono, which is super cute. And yeah, so that is my outfit for the day. And I hope you guys enjoyed hearing just the random stuff I had to talk about. Like I said, please give me feedback in the comments below. Tell me like what you think about what things that I talked about, any of it. And whether it's my church camp, if you have questions about that or anything like that. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye.